Good evening. Welcome to the National News Broadcast. I'm Kasuni Balachandran.
A very good evening. I'm Lakshita Dirasingha. We start off by taking a look at the headlines for tonight.
The new session of the Parliament commences with a simple ceremony. The President emphasizes security and stability needs to be brought upon in the country through constitutional amendments. New faces for a number of portfolios in Parliament. A special investigation underway into the Haputale plane crash. Cabinet approval received to withdraw the proposed Anti-Terrorism Act. Mahaweli engineers say the water seepage at the Moragahakanda reservoir is normal and there is no need to have undue fears.
Moving on to those and other stories in detail. The fourth session of the 8th Parliament commenced under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today. Addressing the House, the President stated an honourable governance will be established in which the country can equally maintain ties with any other country whilst preserving its sovereignty and national pride. The ceremonial opening of the parliamentary session was organised in a simple manner. The formalities that are traditionally included at the ceremonial opening of a parliamentary session, including the Presidential Guard of Honour and the 21-gun salute, were cancelled upon the instructions of the President. The Speaker's arrival took place first. Thereafter, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa arrived at the parliamentary premises, and then the arrival of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa took place. The President was welcomed by Speaker Karu Jayasuriya and escorted into the chamber. Significantly, this was the first time President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who was not a member of Parliament, entered the chamber. A new session of Parliament is inaugurated under the patronage of the President. Thereby, a special seat is prepared for the occasion. Parliamentary Secretary General Dhammika Dasanayake declared the Gazette notification issued by the President on the prorogation and reconvening of Parliament. Thereafter, in accordance with the provisions of Article 33(2) of the Constitution, the President presented the policy statement of the new government.
The
President said the people of the country have given a clear mandate and he is committed to honour the trust of the people and implement a programme on developing a prosperous nation. He pledged to always defend the unitary status of the country during his term of office and protect and nurture the Buddha Sasana while safeguarding the rights of all citizens to practice a religion of their choice. The President observed in the past people had great respect for the Parliament. However, since lately, that respect has gradually waned. The President emphasized the Parliament should once again become an exemplary institution where the real issues of the people are discussed and where matters on national policy are debated. The President said they have already taken steps to strengthen the national security apparatus. He says talented officers have been given appropriate responsibility again. He also explained that they have taken steps to ensure proper coordination between the armed forces and the police, who are collectively responsible for maintaining national security. The President added that the network of national intelligence agencies has been reorganized and strengthened. The President also stated that eliminating poverty is a priority of the government. He explained that poverty can be eliminated by finding practical approaches to issues such as a lack of proper education skills, the lack of land for cultivation, or the lack of capital for self-employment. The President detailed that they have made plans to find employment opportunities for 100,000 youth from low-income earning families within the next month.
සියලු දෙනාම මතක තබා ගත යුතුයි. ජාතික ආරක්ෂා යාන්ත්‍රණය නැවතත් ශක්තිමත් කරන්නට අවශ්‍ය පියවර අපි දැනටමත් ගෙන තිබෙනවා. දක්ෂ නිලධාරීන්ට නැවතත් වගකීම් බාර දී තිබෙනවා.
The Mahasangha state-level representatives of a number of foreign countries and a group of more than 600 invitees were present.
Now, a tea party was held after the ceremonial opening of the parliamentary session today. Representatives of all political parties were part of it, except those of the Janata Vimukti Peramuna.
Speaker Karu Jayasuriya today officially announced in Parliament that MP Sajid Premadasa has been appointed as the opposition leader. Minister Johnston Fernando has been appointed as Chief Government Whip. The Parliament, which was adjourned after the President's policy statement, reconvened at 1 p.m. Varuna Priyantaliyanage was sworn in before the Speaker today to fill the vacancy that arose with the demise of MP Rajat Soiza. Significantly, although a seat was reserved for the new appointee in the government, he chose to sit in the opposition.
Meanwhile, Cabinet approval has been received to withdraw the Anti-Terrorism Act. This proposed act, which caused much controversy, was prepared to be presented in Parliament by the previous administration. Speaking at the media briefing held today to announce cabinet decisions, Minister Bandula Gunawardena said the Anti-Terrorism Act was a foreign requirement. Co-Cabinet spokesperson Minister Bandula Gunawardena said the proposed Anti-Terrorism Act was criticised as a bill that mollycoddles terrorism instead of suppressing terrorism, whilst infringing the political freedom and the freedoms of trade unions and student associations. The minister pointed out even the Minister of Justice of the previous good governance regime did not take steps to put forward this bill. The minister noted although the then president objected, the then Minister of Foreign Affairs Tilak Marapana put forward the bill. Now the entire bill will be trashed.
ප්‍රතිතක්ෂ පනත යනුවෙන් ත්‍රස්තවාදීන් හුරතල් කරන්නට අදාළ වෙන පනත සම්පූර්ණයෙන් අකුලගෙන තියෙනවා.
The government has also focused its attention on granting relief to employees at government and semi-government institutions who have been subject to political victimization. Minister Bandula Gunawardena said political victimizations were at a heightened level, that a separate ombudsman office had to be opened at the opposition leader's office. Cabinet approval was also received to prepare a national policy on preschool education.
The Sri Lanka Air Force has appointed a special committee to investigate the aircraft accident that occurred this morning. A Y-12 type of aircraft of the Air Force crashed in the Haputala area this morning, resulting in 4 deaths, including the 2 pilots. The aircraft crashed at around 9:30 a.m. whilst flying from Veeravilla to Ratmalana. The crashed aircraft was found at Aispilla Tambapille Mavata along the Beragala road in Haputale. The aircraft had departed the Veeravilla Air Force camp this morning on a surveillance mission. This is how CCTV footage showed the aircraft flying at a low altitude moments before the crash. All 4 passengers died in the crash. Air Force Sergeant GWRD Kumara, who is a father of 2, is a resident of Tissamaharama. The pilot, Buddhi Vibatta, is a resident of Hokandara North. Assistant pilot Flight Lieutenant Lankapura Kulatunga is a 26-year-old youth from the Vegiriya area of Gampola. The leader of the team, Ruan Hettiarachi, is a married 30-year-old resident of Telijavila in Mathara. Eyewitnesses state the aircraft was flying towards the mountain, and when attempts were made to turn back, it collided with a tree. Parliamentarians paid their attention towards this incident during the debate today. Opposition leader Sajid Premadas expressed his condolences to the families of the deceased airmen. State Minister Defence Chama Rajapaksa said today an in-depth investigation would be carried out into the crash of the Sri Lanka Air Force White-12 aircraft at Haputale, and that he would present a report in Parliament soon. He said the aircraft had left Veeravilla Airport for ground surveillance in the eastern part of the country, and that the preliminary investigations had revealed that the aircraft, which was flying low, had crashed into a hill. The State Minister said 2 pilots and 2 ground surveillance assistants were killed in the crash.
The Sri Lanka Mahaweli Authority states the water seepage of the main dam of the Moragahakanda Reservoir is not a situation to get alarmed. Therefore, those residing in low-lying areas in the vicinity need not have undue fears, as it is an ordinary seepage. The Mahaweli Authority states steps will be taken to rectify the seepage within 10 days. The Moragahakanda Reservoir, that was vested with the public on the 7th of November last year, was constructed by diverting the waters of the Kaluganga at the Laggala Pallegam areas. A seepage was reported over the past few days, causing alarm for the residents in the vicinity. The issue came under the observation of the engineers of the Mahaweli Authority, who said that it is not an alarming situation.
The initiative taken by youth groups to paint parapet walls that were left neglected at public places has spread throughout the country speedily. This initiative is reported to have brought about a sense of tranquil beauty to the environment and to the minds of people. Today's Ratata Hetak segment focuses on this initiative. Previously, parapet walls in the towns and villages had posters pasted on them, compelling residents to paint stick dome builds to prevent posters from being pasted. Such posters destroy the beauty of the environment and are an eyesore. No one was able to change this. However, all of a sudden this began to change, and that was through the strength and dedication that generated in the minds of the youth population. The art of roadside painting took a different turn, and this initiative, which spread throughout the country at a fast pace, earned the appreciation of many. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has also appreciated the move. The President states it is important to bring forward creativity as a positive force of society to bring about a productive cultural change. Volunteers have got together to provide these youth artists not only with meals and refreshments, but also with the required paint, brushes and drawing equipment. This beautiful initiative has extended to all areas of the country. These efforts can be regarded as yet another opportunity taken by the youth in their journey of creating a beautiful country by braving the scorching heat and heavy rains to attain their objective. In a society in which a sense of taste had been depleting, this instantaneous initiative has brought about beauty to the country as well as a new meaning. The art of roadside painting for urban beautification, which was a characteristic of developed countries, is now experienced in Sri Lanka as well.
Meanwhile, a fire erupted at a fabric recycling factory at Sedavatta in Vallampitiya this evening, resulting in serious damage. The fire occurred at around 3 p.m. The Colombo Fire Brigade, the police and the tri-forces joined in the efforts to douse the blaze. The cause of the fire is not known. The police are conducting investigations.
The Western Provincial Council has launched a special project on dengue prevention in the province. A media briefing to raise awareness on the project was held under the patronage of the provincial governor today. Governor of the Western Province, Dr. Sita Arambekula, said they hope to obtain maximum contribution of all entities involved in eradicating dengue. They will also obtain the support of those involved in urban beautification tasks.
Now, with a sharp increase in Sri Lankan illegal migrants to Australia and New Zealand in 2019, the Sri Lankan Navy has strengthened its surveillance operations with the support of the Sri Lanka Air Force and the Australia's operations on sovereign borders. The Navy spokesman, Lieutenant Commander Isuru Surya Bandara, said on average 64 Sri Lankans had tried to flee the country illegally in the years of 2016, 2017 and 2018.
Few days back, Sri Lanka Navy could apprehend 4 people in Trincomalee area in connection with human smuggling. According to the information received by Sri Lanka Navy, we heard that there had been nearly 50 people who were ready to migrate from Sri Lanka illegally by sea. This was an alarming fact that we all have to concern. Now, if you take this data, you can see that during the last couple of years, there had not been significant increase in human smuggling, where the Sri Lanka Navy and other stakeholders in the maritime sector were fully vigilant in their operations to counter these human increasing operations around the Sri Lankan waters. So, however, in this year, according to the statistics maintained by the Sri Lanka Navy, it shows that 175 people had been arrested and forwarded for the legal action who had been connected with this illegal immigration. Totally, in the past 10 years, 4,765 people had been apprehended by the Sri Lanka Navy as well as the stakeholders in other countries like Australia, France, the Reunion Island, the Seychelles and the Mauritius. When you look into this, the Sri Lanka Navy is taking much effort to counter this illegal activity in surrounding waters, as well as very recently the Australian High Commission sent us a message reminding the zero chance concept followed by the Australian government to ban and to minimize this human smuggling problem. So, according to the Major General Craig Fernie, who is the commander of Australia's Operation Sovereign Borders, says, I quote, "You will risk your life and you have zero chance of success. Australia's tough border protection policies mean no one who travels illegally by boat will ever be allowed to live or work in Australia." Unquote. So this emphasizes the strong immigration and immigration policies followed by those countries. So no one will get a chance to visit or to enter or to live or to work in such countries. There may be multiple reasons for people to go behind these racketeers and the smugglers and for trying to migrate to another country by illegal means. So that may be financial prospects. He may be a criminal, or maybe a person in wanted, or maybe a terrorist. Sometimes we don't know. So anyway, we would like to urge the public to not to go behind these smugglers or the racketeers. So this is a totally organized crime, which basically they are focusing on the financial perspective.
President Gotabaya Rajapaksa appointed former Vice-Chancellor of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, Professor Sampath Amaratunga, as the Chairman of the University Grants Commission today. Professor Amaratunga has held a variety of leadership positions. He was the 25th Vice-Chancellor appointed for the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura and counts over 27 years of service at the university. He is a member of the Association of Commonwealth Universities of the United Kingdom.
ආචාර්ය සම්පත් අමරතුංග මහත්මයාට ආශිර්වාද කරනවා. බුද්ධානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සම්බ දේවතා සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ භවතු සබ්බ මංගලං රක්ඛන්තු සබ්බ දේවතා සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ.
The government has taken steps to strictly enforce the law against the loud tooting of horns of passenger transport buses. Minister Mahinda Amaravira has instructed the National Transport Commission to regulate the sound levels of horns of passenger transport buses as mandated by the Motor Traffic Act and by the National Environment Act No. 7 of 1980. Special attention will be focused on the permitted sound levels emitted from horns and the type of horns used in vehicles. Thereby, from the face of the vehicle, within a 2-meter distance, the sound pressure level should be 105 decibels. A level of 93 decibels should be maintained within 7 meters from the face of the vehicle when the vehicle is running or is at a stop. However, the Ministry of Passenger Transport Management says many motorists disregard this regulation. Minister Amarveera says, for this situation to be controlled, a change of attitude needs to be brought about in the drivers.
The earth faces severe threats owing to billions of non-degradable waste that is disposed to the environment. Non-degradable waste has a detrimental effect on the oceanic environment. The Indian Ocean is in the second place with regard to sea pollution. According to reports compiled by the United Nations, 1.3 trillion or 188 million pounds of disposed plastic parts are found in the Indian Ocean. Thereby, Sri Lanka also becomes a country accountable for sea pollution. Sri Lanka regularly uses single-use plastics. Food wrappers and shopping bags are mostly in use. Waste disposed to the oceans have an adverse effect on corals. It has been observed coral-related diseases have risen from 4% to 89%. Abrasions caused on the surface of coral by disposed plastics result in the interior of the corals getting infected and as a result posing a threat to marine life in the vicinity. Certain sea creatures have got accustomed to ingesting plastics as part of their food, as most of these creatures are unable to differentiate between food and plastic particles. Since the digestion of plastic particles is hard, such sea creatures face the threat of extinction. This demonstrates that the damage caused to the oceans by man is enormous. Man has already destroyed the seas. Therefore, the time has come to make haste and take steps to preserve and bestow this beautiful gift on the future generations.
And before we wind up, let's have a quick look at the weather. The Met Department says that several spells of showers will occur in eastern and Uva provinces and in Mullaitivu, Kilinochchi and Hambantota districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in Sabaragama, western and northwestern provinces and in Galle, Mathura and Nuwara districts after 2 p.m. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in western, central, Sabaragama and Uva provinces during the morning.
And that's all the stories we have for you today. We'll see you tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.